Hello everybody and welcome back to another Oscar prediction video where today I will be taking a look at the category of Best Actor. So it's kind of funny because to me I look at this category and Best Actor seems like the trickiest of the four acting categories, but I've heard from other people that Best Actress is the tricky one. Now I don't personally believe that. I feel very confident that Gladstone is going to win Best Actress. Best Actor, I'm a little bit more unsure about, but maybe that's just personal bias. I don't know. But ultimately, the rest of the internet seems to have agreed there's a pretty clear frontrunner, so who am I to disagree? Let's get to the nominees. Fifth most likely to win is Coleman Domingo in Rustin. So this is Coleman Domingo's first Oscar nomination. And he's been a well-established actor for a while in things like Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, but this is a big lead role for him, which he does not often get. And it is a very impressive role. He's playing Bayard Rustin, who's not the most well-known figure. He's someone who was hugely influential in the civil rights movement, but is not talked about as much as Martin Luther King because he was openly gay. And so I really admire him for wanting to tell this story and wanting to play this character. The problem is the movie itself is really not that great. It is the most standard, by-the-numbers biopic that leaves out a lot of big stuff. And Domingo, this is a classic example of a really solid performance that uplifts what would not be a great movie without it. And I really do applaud Domingo for the work that he's doing here. However, this is the sole nomination for the movie. And I really do feel like if they liked the movie, they could have nominated it in other categories. They could have nominated it in song. They did not. Also, this is the only movie in this lineup that is not also up for Best Picture. I'm not going to say that it's impossible to win a leading acting Oscar without a Best Picture nomination. Just last year, Brendan Fraser shows that it can be done. But Fraser had a lot of major precursor wins going into this. Coleman really does not. And I get the sense that people basically know that Domingo is not winning. He was considered lucky to get the nomination over someone like DiCaprio. And I like Coleman Domingo as an actor. I think it's good that he got this nomination, but I don't think too many people are going to be racing to give him the win, considering who he's up against. Fourth most likely to win is Jeffrey Wright in American Fiction. Now, Jeffrey Wright is very, very good in this movie, and like Coleman Domingo, he's been a working actor for some time now who's sort of been working his way up to a big nomination like this. And I think the nomination is very deserved because the movie has these two very disparate tones, one of which is very satirical and the other which is a lot more wholesome and melancholy, and I think he navigates these genre changes very well. And in the scenes where he has to play this stereotypical Stag R. Lee character, he does a great job at bringing out the humor in the situation. So I think this is a very good performance and deserving of the nomination. But I don't think he's going to win. I think because the performance is largely comedic, and the dramatic stuff, while there, is a little bit underplayed, it doesn't seem like the type of character that wins this category. And I think if he had won the Golden Globe for Comedy Actor, that would put him more in the race, but he didn't. I think he's very good in the movie, and I'm glad that he got on, but like with Domingo, I don't think he has a very realistic shot at winning. Third most likely to win is Bradley Cooper in Maestro. Oh boy, this nomination. So, like, I talked in the Best Actress category about Annette Bening in Nyad seeming like the year-in-advance frontrunner because she's playing a real person and it's a very baity role, and she's an actor who she's considered overdue for a win. And it's funny because we have almost the exact same scenario playing out in Best Actor with Bradley Cooper playing Leonard Bernstein in Maestro. Now, Maestro is a better received film overall than Naiad because it is up for picture and screenplay and actress. So it's up for all of these awards. And the performance, I gotta be honest, when I saw the movie, I was like, well, it's not a great performance, but he's definitely gonna win because he's doing what you're supposed to do in order to win an Oscar. Like, this is so paint by numbers how to win an Academy Award. He's playing a famous person, he's aging, he's changing his voice and inflection, he's disguised in all this makeup, he's talking on the press about how it took him 6 years to learn how to conduct. That's the thing. It's so unbelievably transparent how much he wants to win the Oscar. And initially, I was thinking he would win. I was thinking this would be very similar to Leo DiCaprio in The Revenant, where it was so obvious how much he wanted to win that. But I think this takes it a step beyond what DiCaprio did for the sole reason that Cooper is also directing the movie. And he directs and he stars in the film, and not only is the acting very showy, but the direction is very showy. And it just comes across as really, really pandering, as really desperate, as please give me an Academy Award for the love of God. That is what you get dripping off of Bradley Cooper's face in every single shot of this movie. And because his motivation is so transparent, that's turned a lot of people off of him and off of the movie. And when he lost the Golden Globe, and you saw that look of bitterness on his face, I think I could already tell, okay, the narrative not only shifted away from Bradley winning for this movie, but possibly shifted away from Bradley for the... We'll see what happens in his career after this, but I don't think he's winning an Oscar next year. I think he may have fallen out of grace because of just how badly he wants this Oscar, and it's made him come across as unlikable. And sometimes they like it when you don't want it. Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, I think, played as, oh, this is stupid. Sometimes they like it when you want it. Sometimes when you seem eager and young, and I just want this award. And Cooper, he's just trying so hard, and it's so apparent that he's trying so hard. And because he hasn't won any major precursors or that many critics awards, he's just not at the top of mind for many in this category. I was waiting to see if he could win SAG or something that would put him back in the race, but he's lost everything, and I think good riddance. He does not deserve to win for this performance. Second most likely to win is Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers. Okay, so for a moment, it really looked like this was going to happen. When he gave his speeches at both Golden Globe and Critics' Choice, it seemed like the odds were in his favor. And he's a very, very likable actor who's been in the industry for a long time, infamously snubbed for Sideways back in 2004, and he's one of those really, really likable actors, and you almost forget how likable he is until you see him in this kind of role. Even though he's playing a curmudgeon-type character, he does it so well. I heard something on a podcast that was like, if Tom Hanks is America's dad, then Paul Giamatti is America's weird uncle. And Giamatti really seems to have embraced that notion about himself, and he just comes across as so charming in his speeches. So I was really thinking, okay, this is going to be a race. This is going to be a race between Giamatti and the other person who I'll mention in a minute. And unfortunately, this does not seem to be much of a race. I still don't think it's impossible. I think what Giamatti is doing is showier than what the number one performance is doing. And he's very likable, and the movie is very well liked. So I do think he's right there. And it would not shock me if Giamatti's name is called on Oscar night. But I'm not going to predict him. The person that I have number one most likely to win is Killian Murphy in Oppenheimer. So this is weird, because I think of the nominees, Murphy might be my personal favorite. Of the nominees, I think I actually might like Andrew Scott in All of Us Strangers as the best male lead performance of the year. But Killian Murphy is very, very good in Oppenheimer. And it's really impressive what he's able to do and how he's able to carry this giant 3-hour epic on his shoulders without going too big. Like, the performance never feels too over the top like what Bradley Cooper is doing. It's very reserved for what it is. And it's very impressive, but it's not something that the Academy typically goes for. Because Murphy, while he has been around, he hasn't been as big of a staple as someone like Paul Giamatti or Bradley Cooper. So I think there was this expectation of, this is when he's going to get his first nomination after working in the industry for a long time and being a part of a movie that everyone likes. He's not actually going to win for this. But the more that he's won, not only critics awards in the lead up to this, but the Golden Globe for Drama and BAFTA and the SAG. SAG was the big deciding point for me, because I was convinced in the lead up to SAG that Giamatti was going to win, because that seemed like a much more actor-friendly performance, and it was a big surprise to me that they went with Killian Murphy. I do really like what he's doing in the film, and I do think this would be a deserving win. I'm just a little surprised that it's actually going this way, because it feels really different from the type of performance that normally wins in this category. I do worry that it could be closer than some are saying. I do think Giamatti is still very much in the race, and I wouldn't fully count him out. But, as of right now, it is difficult to deny that Murphy has more precursors, and even though people do like The Holdovers, people really, really love Oppenheimer. And Murphy is the face of the movie, even though it's not a traditional biopic, but in any sense of the word, and he's not really transforming his physical appearance to play this character. It is still an impressive feat of acting, and it's part of a movie that everyone loves, and based on precursors, it looks like Killian Murphy is going to win the Oscar. So thank you very much for watching, and tune in next time when I will be taking a look at the category of Best Adapted Screenplay. See you then.